Hello, my name is Nick Lundervold, and my presentation is on the chlorophyll-a production in the temperate zone. So to start off, chlorophyll-a is important to know the health of an oceanic ecosystem because it shows how much algae is growing in a specific region. And this is important because it affects the health of the water by potentially making it aesthetically displeasing, as well as introducing harmful toxins or chemicals that make it unsafe for species living there, as well as surrounding human populations. This primary production is influenced by many factors, including geography, latitude, the concentration of people. And while we look at the data, we can see some patterns occurring in the amount of chlorophyll-a being produced. We can see that the higher latitude locations in the Endurance Array and the Coastal Pioneer Array have a higher amount of primary productivity, and higher populated areas such as the Endurance Array also have a higher concentration of chlorophyll-a. And after looking at this data, we notice that the Endurance Array has the most amount of chlorophyll-a being produced, and this is a cause for concern because of its unhealthy levels and the effect that it can have on the waterways here. The summer months are where we see the biggest influx of primary productivity, mostly because of the sunlight reaching the surface of the water, and the areas surrounding the Endurance Array should probably be thinking of ways to reduce the amount of chlorophyll because of their location and population. Chlorophyll-a is a measure of algae in a water body. It's a natural part of any water ecosystem, but it can be harmful if too much is present. Too much chlorophyll-a can produce negative effects such as bad odors, green scum, reduce the amount of dissolved oxygen. There can also be toxins produced by algae that are harmful to people and other species if found in high concentrations. And factors such as climate, geography, the amount of sun, concentration of people in a local area can all affect the productivity of chlorophyll-a. Knowing how much chlorophyll-a is being produced is critical in determining the healthiness of a water system and what we can do to improve its health overall. So going on to the research itself, we collected the data from 3 different stations in the temperate zone. They show the concentration of chlorophyll over a year from 2015 to 2016, starting in March. The 3 station arrays will we focus on are the Endurance Array, the Pioneer Array, and the Argentine Basin Array. The Endurance Array is located in the northwest of North America on the coast near Canada. The Pioneer Array is located in the northeast United States near the coast, and the Argentine Basin is located off the much further off the coast in open waters of South America near Argentina. Too much algae can cause the fish population to reduce, and it can pollute the water to a point where it is unhealthy for other species to live there. Preventing an overgrowth of this is essential for a healthy and stable ecosystem. If we look at the results of our data collection, we can see in the North Pacific, we see a large increase in the concentration of chlorophyll-a during the months of April through November. The summer months are having the greatest effect on chlorophyll-a production because of the amount of sun reaching the ocean's surface. The North Atlantic had a small spike in production in April and May, but fell off and didn't become very active again until the end of the year, hardly reaching above 5 UG/L. The South Atlantic did not show much production compared to the other 2 stations. We can see that the largest concentration was in April, just like the others, so we can determine that in the summer months is the highest concentration of this. A pattern we notice right away is that there's more production during the summer months than the rest of the year. The most obvious pattern between the 3 locations is the concentration of chlorophyll during the summer months. Starting in April, this is where we can see the most active production in all 3 locations. In the Endurance Array in the North Pacific, however, differs from the others by showing a much higher concentration of chlorophyll-a overall. This is because the location of this station on the coast of western North America, there is a upwelling because of the wind direction in relation to the coast. This causes deep water to reach the surface and introduces a large amount of nutrients in the surface water. The geography of each location affects its primary production, and latitude also influences the primary production of ocean surface water. The higher the latitude, usually the more production is observed. Therefore, we can see more chlorophyll-a concentration in the Endurance and Pioneer Array compared to the Argentine Basin. The location of the Endurance Array also influences the primary production because the weather influences here that are not happening in the other two locations. So what can we learn from all this? The proximity to shore influences primary production at these locations. The Argentine Basin in the South Atlantic is further away from shore than the other two locations, so it has much less primary production of chlorophyll-a. When you are closer to shore, you will see a greater amount of primary production because of the influences of humans and industrialization. If an area has a higher population of humans and it is close to shore, you will see a much higher concentration of primary production. Heavily populated areas tend to have more structures along their coastlines, which increase erosion in that area and can cause pollution. And the more humans also means more trash, which also cause pollution. These coastal areas also tend to use fishing as a main form of agriculture, and too much of this can harm the surrounding ecosystem. The Endurance Array has all these influences because of its location, geography, and population. Therefore, we can see a large amount of chlorophyll-a production here compared to the other two stations. After observing these two stations, I have some questions about the primary production of the ocean surface, such as what will happen if we see an increase in population in any of these areas? Will it change? Will it create a higher concentration of chlorophyll-a in those areas? Will we see the Pioneer Array catch up to the Endurance Array and its primary production at a certain point? What policies will be put into place or are being put into place to help the health of the coastal areas in the future? Will the data from the Endurance Array cause local governments to make changes so they can reduce the amount of primary production? Decisions of local governments should be influenced by the data they are given, as well as the location of their population, density of their population, geography, and current health of their local waters. The data shown from the three locations gives us a good look into why there are changes in primary production in different areas of the ocean. The largest concentration of chlorophyll-a is in the Endurance Array, and this is because all the factors influencing primary production here are here. We can see it is close to the shore, it has a high population and a high latitude. It also has upwelling occurring here, which causes more primary production than an area without it. And the Pioneer Array is at a similar latitude, but is less populated and does not have upwelling occurring. The Argentine Basin shows less primary production than the other two, mainly because of its location and geography. It is further offshore and is at a lower latitude. It does not seem to be influenced by other factors that are clearly influencing the Endurance Array. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I look forward to your comments.